At the start of the function, we would like to felicitate our esteemed guests, dignitaries on the dais. May I request our Honorable Director, Professor Dr. Mukul Sutaune, to kindly felicitate the esteemed chief guest of today's function, Dr. Pramod Chaudhari, by presenting a sapling and a memento. I would like to briefly introduce today's chief guest, Dr. Pramod Chaudhari. Dr. Pramod Chaudhari, Executive Chairman of Praj Industries Limited and member of the Board of Governors of College of Engineering, Pune, COEP. As a first-generation techno-entrepreneur, Sir founded Praj in 1983. Praj Group is global provider of end-to-end technology and engineering solutions for bioenergy, biochemical, and biopharma industry with strong backing of world-class state-of-art R&D center called Praj Matrix. With strong belief in principle of triple bottom line, his business model is inherently scalable, replicable, and sustainable. Dr. Chaudhari is acclaimed as ethanol man in the industry networks. Deeply passionate about bioeconomy and environment, he is committed to develop clean and green technologies. He is an alumnus of Harvard Business School. Some of his recent recognitions include 2022 William C. Hollenberg Award for the Lifetime Achievements in Bioeconomy by the Daily Digest, US-based leading publication. He is the first Asian recipient of this global honor. George Washington Carver Award 2020 by BioImpact, Washington, D.C., USA. He is the first Indian to receive this global honor. The Distinguished Alumnus Award and Distinguished Service Award by IIT Bombay. Sir is actively associated with many eminent organizations holding responsible positions. He is author of the books As Is What Is and Tar Asar Zala, a story of the journey of Praj. He has received many awards and recognitions for entrepreneurship and excellence. Some of them are Asia One Global Indian of the Year 2021 by Asia One Magazine and URS Media International, the Distinguished Alumnus Award and Distinguished Service Award, Biospectrum Leadership Award for his remarkable work in promoting the cause of biofuels in the past 3 decades, and many more. I now request Dr. Pramod Chaudhari to kindly address the audience. May I request the volunteers here to kindly turn the chairs so that the screen is visible to the dignitaries on the dais.
Thank you, madam. Very good morning, everybody. Professor Sutaune, Director of COEP, Dr. Praveen Mehta, DG of DRDO in Pune, Professor Nandgaonkar, Utsav Murthy for this program, for organizing this mechanical engineering conference. First of all, I compliment him for reviving this conference. It's a very important conference, and that also called as advances. No offense meant, but he's taking not after 7 years, but after 9 years. So I would like to know, since I can take little liberty with him because I'm a member of the Board of Governors, so when you go for a 3rd edition, and if you do it in the next 3 years' time, I declare the first award for the best paper presented in that conference from Praj side. So I'm sure it will act as an incentive, and that will be a very important thing. Friends, COEP is undergoing a lot of transition, and this is a very happy situation. I don't know whether I can share, but which you partly shared in newspapers. So just on the longest day of this summer, that is 2 days back, on 21st June, it has been recognized as a university status. Very laudable, very laudable. And I think compliments to all the teaching staff and the Board of Governors and everybody put in a lot of efforts to reach to that status. Not only that, they're also expanding the campus, a place called Chikli. How many acres is that? 28, yeah. And you'll see a lot of new activities, a lot of latest technology and engineering will be taught. They're creating number of center of excellences. So it is completely facelift, changing for this institute, and who all are connected, they should feel proud of this development. So as a current director, I compliment Sutwane sir for this kind of achievements. There are many other things, ratings and all those things, but I don't go into detail of that. But these are the main laudable, noteworthy things. Advances in mechanical engineering, which is, I think, a very appropriate theme, subject for this conference. And there are number of things that are happening in this space. We're talking about onslaught of digital technologies and related sciences, and robotics, AI, so many other things are now encroaching or supporting the mechanical engineering. Incidentally, I am also a student of mechanical engineering from IIT Bombay, so I got a special affinity for this subject. I'm going to talk to you about a little different subject, and it was touched by Professor Nangaonkar in his opening remarks. He talked about Industry 4.0, and he also touched upon Society 5.0. And for me, both these subjects and their progress or their next versions is very important. And next 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I'll try to give you overview of what's happening in this area and how it is getting connected with the subject which we are trying to bring out from Praj. You know, the 1784 was a James Watt's steam engine, and that is called Industry 1.0. Everybody knows about that. 1870, just few years after COEP was born, there was the beginning of Industry 2.0. And that was representing mass production, productivity. These were the things which were becoming important. And they resulted into, mainly started with USA, but gave rise to a number of subjects like work study, industrial engineering, so many allied areas. In 1969, the computers came on the scene, and that gave rise to Industry 3.0. We use this Industry 1.2, 0.3, 0.4, but this has been the broad journey, and now we know the cyber space, Industry 4.0, where you see a lot of use of IoT and so many related things, networks. Next. This is a little complex, you don't have to get, it's like some kind of a microorganism, but no. It is, sorry. There are these 12 tracks which you are talking about today, this conference, various tracks, thermal and fluid engineering to heating, ventilation, all that. And the components of Industry 4.0, which we have tried to map here, which are nanotech, cyber, algorithms, they all become forming the part of the kind of ingredients for arriving at Industry 4.0 configurations. Cloud, robotics, simulations, all these techniques, they form the components of Industry 4.0. Next. But what has happened during this period? Industry growth in 3.0 and 4.0. One monster is taking shape on the horizon. And somewhere this progress on the industries, Industry 3.0 and 4.0, is causing a concern. And that is coming out of the climate change threats. And most of the people have forgotten about these climate change aspects. And that's where my subject or I want to draw your attention to that when you talk about Industry 5.0, in which robo and thinking robo is likely to happen. The robo will start thinking like a human being, and the model which will emerge at that is a regular version of Industry 5.0 version 1. But the version 2, what we call, and this concept we are trying to promote, we have written some papers on this, that bioeconomy will play an important role to help monitor this journey of 5.0 version 1 balanced by version 2. What is happening is that you read about net zero, India's target of 2070 to go for net zero. Many countries are in 2030, 2050, and these are the challenges in front of us to reduce or stop addition of carbon to the environment. You know that today the fossil fuels add 55 billion tons of carbon every year. And 55 billion tons of carbon, the total carbon added, and out of it 70% is from fossil fuels. So reduction of fossil fuel, you're talking about EV and all those things. These are the excellent things. Solar is helping, and so many other things are also helping. There's a school of thought that 2% of global GDP, if we spend on controlling this climate change action, 2% of global GDP, which is in the range of about 85 trillion. 85 trillion is the dollar, 85 trillion is the total GDP. 2% of that, if is put in as an investment, it will help us control the change up to 1.5, which is the desire or aspiration of global community. How do we stop at 1.5 rise? And for that, this is a huge amount required globally. Again, by many countries are contributing, but this is the requirement. This money will go for creating infrastructure, and it will also create jobs. Unfortunately, this is not forming the part of neither major syllabus or as a job opportunity, and a training is not there. So my request to COEP will be that if we can look from this angle, that this is a new emerging opportunity, which is along with Industry 5.0, it will also be the opportunity for climate action. And this climate action will involve number of things like energy transition, carbon reduction techniques, and many other solutions. As I say, like EV is there or solar is there. So these are all the things which are going to go and help control this rise of temperature and rise or controlling the carbon emissions. So new components of industry, these are mentioned. The autonomous robo, like a human interface called Kobo. And on the right side, we show the effect of bioeconomy. We call version 1 and version 2. Version 1 is, everyone is familiar of that. And a lot of work is happening. But somewhere we have to also take into account version 2 to arrive at controlling this phenomena of climate change. Next. This is a journey traced from industry 1.0 to industry 4.0 or industry 5.0, which we think. And parallelly, the Japanese way. So I was very impressed when Nangaugar said it's the society 5.0. I don't know in what manner it is being taught here, but referred about. You did refer about it. Society 5.0. Not yet, but you mentioned in your talk. It's required. It's aspiration. Somebody wrote for you or what? No. Sorry. So I was very, very impressed. But Society 5.0 was a Japanese concept that how do you make a society aware and how the society has changed from a hunting society in the forest and all that to agrarian society, to industrial society, the information society, and the next one is the super smart society. And that super smartness will come in controlling most of these things connected with the climate change. So, next. It was mentioned that I believe in triple P or triple bottom line concept. We talk about people, planet, and profit. And that is the thing which we have to maintain in balanced position and to achieve sustainability. So these aspects, how they are important is mentioned: ecological balance, the likely unemployment or human cost, how do you take care of that aspect? And there is a bottom of pyramid, which is also to be included, inclusiveness. The theme of Antyodaya, which is referred by our Honorable Prime Minister, it is very relevant from that angle. You cannot increase the disparity, and our education should be such that not only it creates job for the certain strata of the people, students, but also help create jobs at the bottom of the pyramid. And that's where the balance will take place, and that's why this 5.0 enhanced version will take this kind of a balance. Next. The other comparison is given here, that smart factory was 4.0, human and robo working side by side, co-working. And then there are many other comparisons are given. Equilibrium of cyber physically systems and inclusive and ecology. So they will affect the motto, the motivation, the power source, electric power, fossil-based fuels, renewable fuels to solar power and other things, renewable power sources. So these are the likely transitions. And you know that energy transition is become a very big subject. Every country, the fossil oil companies are looking at energy transition. And for that, if the new syllabus or the new invention happen in that area, again, there's a tremendous amount of research and scope for growth. So on this background, what I believe or I am trying to pursue is the subject of bioeconomy. Can you go to the next one? Yeah. So this is the subject. Bioeconomy is something that everything which is based on the plants. You know, plants absorb carbon and they are renewable. So that is the simple principle based on which processing of this plant material, you can achieve certain measures, and that can create an ecosystem which will take care of a circular economy, a bioeconomy, and that is what is being promoted globally. India, it is still in the early stages. At Praj, we are trying to support this. You can do fuels, you can do chemicals, you name a thing and they can be made. Whatever happens from hydrocarbon, they can be made from carbohydrates. That's the simple principle which is followed for achieving the bioeconomy parameters. Next. Here it shows that various things which can be made from the plant. Power, soil, it can go back. It can be used in the construction materials. Can you see from there? Difficult. But these are the samples, and if somebody is interested, we can share this copy later on. The other thing which is happening is on the health side. Clean air is an important thing. You know that what is the suffering happened due to pandemic. Healthy food, organic materials for healthy food, as a healthy food again, and affordable healthcare. The cost of healthcare is affordable. So these are the requirements for a good living and satisfied society or contented society. And these are the few parameters which bioeconomy helps address. For example, there is a development what is called as a vegetarian burger. I'm sure you might have read about it. Impossible Foods in USA, they have launched vegetable burger. It is the proteins which are having a flavor of a meat, but no, it is made from the plant material. So this is the transition which is happening. The vegans is that example. So many such, and the development can happen with a proper education and the innovation. So these are the two parameters which is allowing us to go and develop this kind of things. Next. You heard about this COP26 which happened in Glasgow, and the Cooperation of Parties. It is a program of UNFCCC to control the climate action, and India is signatory to this. So there is a SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals have been declared. There are 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and they also are equally important to be shared with the new generation. 11 of these SDGs, what happened? 11 of these SDGs, out of these 17, are addressed by bioeconomy directly. So more than almost 50%, 60% goals can be achieved with the help of bioeconomy. And these are very important goals on a variety of parameters. Climate action is one thing, water quality is there, marine life. So all those things do form a part of poverty, how we eradicate the poverty. So all these things forming the part of these 17 goals, and out of which 11 are addressed by bioeconomy. Next. So in Praj, we have taken bioeconomy as a major motto. And if you can see from this diagram, there are two arms of bioeconomy we are working on. So one arm, we call it biomobility. That all types of fossil fuels in the different transportation, because they are the major 16% of the carbon is contributed by transportation alone. So we can use biofuels or different kind of biofuels under the biomobility, which is our trademark, biomobility, and that covers different kind of biofuels, ethanols, or the new thing which is there in the offering, which we are working on, that is the aviation fuel. Aviation fuel, current jet fuel contributes very high, heavy carbon loading. So that can be replaced by the aviation fuel, sustainable aviation fuel, marine fuels. So all those things, including biohydrogen. So all these fuels based on the bio route makes the biomobility circle. Now we talk about EV. I just give one small cautioning. If the EV charging is happening from the electricity drawn from a thermal power plant, it is not helping you. So please keep this in mind. If it is from renewable source, yes, there is a saving of carbon. But if it is simply from the thermal power plant, then no. So these are the few things which I am sure you are aware of that, and it's forming the part of your curriculum, that this is the thing which has to be kept in mind. The other part of this is the renewable chemicals. You know, plastic was very popular. It is still popular. But plastic's drawback is that it cannot be destroyed. It remains on the soil or in the municipal solid waste heaps. It has got a very very long life, it is non-deteriorable. So these plastics or variety of polymers are to be replaced by biopolymers. And that is the work is going on. It's like a recycle of carbon. And these are degradable plastics, which can be either composted or they can deteriorate in the water or any other things. Just recently, I think from 1st of July, the straws are banned. You know the straws which come along with the juice and all that. Now they are banned. So they had to be made from this kind of material which can, or single-use plastics for that matter. We have still not become very conscious, but these are the things which, as a good civil practices, social practices, we have to follow that. And there is a tremendous scope. If you just count the straws, billions of straws are consumed, and they can all be made from biopolymers or bioplastics. This is one small example. So that is we call it the carbon recycling, or the program we are calling bioprism. And this is made, we try to make all this thing from agri-waste. I forgot to mention that. We don't want to go for a fresh agri-material, but waste. In fact, one of our big plant is coming up, 3 plants are coming up, one in Panipat, where we will be using rice straw to produce biofuels. And they give very low CI. Carbon intensity is the lowest on agri-waste based production. And that can really replace or get blended with petrol or gasoline. Something similarly can happen. We also can make biogas, and it can be blended with CNG, compressed natural gas. So all these efforts are there to reduce the carbon loading. Next. This shows the example of biomobility usage, railways, heavy-duty trucks, aeroplane, tractors. Recently we developed a dual kit on a tractor which can run on diesel, which can run on the biogas, just by putting that dual kit. And the idea is that when you take the fuel from production point to consumption point, there should be minimum distance, because you are burning carbon again. So you have to see that where it is grown, it should be consumed there. And normally plants are grown in the rural area. So this can give boost to farming community, to the rural economy. And that's one of the principles of bioeconomy, that you see the distributed model for supporting rural economy. Next. In chemicals, these are the various processes we follow, and the tire industry is looking seriously for this. Variety of chemicals are there, including we develop a bitumen, dambar, which is used for road laying, that can come from a bio route, and it can give, again, more eco-friendly. So RCM is a big program, renewable chemicals and materials. Many of the materials which are used on the car, dashboard, different kind of plastic or polypropylenes. Next. There's 2 more slides only now. So what is important is the feedstocks, technology, and product. And our company works on all the 3 parameters. The R&D which was mentioned, pragmatics, some of the staff has visited from COEP. And this is the work which is going on there for different kind of material, feedstocks, and you see the glimpse of the feedstocks. The technology development is our job, and we create a product which gets into the application area. Next. So these 2 arms of biomobility and bioprism, they help ensure, take care of environment, they support economy, and it also supports social, creating jobs, creating prosperity in the rural area. And also a lot of entrepreneurship is happening now in this space to have a supply chain, or in other areas, small plants can come. Next. Yeah, this is a summary slide. It just summarizes what I've been trying to say for last few minutes. And this is giving altogether what are the things, how we can ensure profit, take care of planet and support people. And the last slide is about Praj. Please. Yeah. This is Praj at a glance. We are roughly a $300 million company with 1,200 employees, more than 90 scientists working at our place. The 2 points which I would like to leave here is that 10% of global production of ethanol is from Praj technology in different part of the world. More than 100 countries we have references. Yeah. So this has been a matter of pride that a Pune company we could do all these things. There are many things, but I don't want of time. I don't want to. Yeah. So this is what we want to suggest. Yeah. Robo and human together. So please keep in mind when you are designing a robo, whether using it. Thank you for your patient listening. Thanks for calling me here. Yeah.